Hi, welcome to Into Health. We're gonna do exercises for plantar fasciitis today. You need a chair, you need a resistance band, and you can also need one of these roam faller, or if you don't have it, a rolling pin that you wrap around in a towel, okay? So the first part is stretching. So you need to stretch the calves, basically allow the part of the plantar fasciitis to work and to stretch, okay? So the plantar fascia is a muscle that starts from the heel and wraps around the toes, connecting to the toes, okay? So the function of this muscle is to basically flex the toes, okay? However, as it is connecting to the heel, most of the time is also can be affected by very tight calves. So the main thing that we want to do is, first of all, stretch the calves, and then also work on exercises that can affect the plantar fascia itself. The main pain that people experience is pain on the heel, or they feel pain on the inside of their arches, okay? So this is the main areas where you're feeling it. Sometimes they feel it onto the big toe, but these are the main areas, mainly the heel, okay? So the first thing you want to do is to do some stretches of the calf. So the two best ways to do it is you're against the wall, you're placing your hands on the wall, and you're placing the injured foot back with the legs straight, okay? The heel is down onto the floor. And from there, you're bending the front leg and you're bringing your chest as close as you can towards the wall, as you're keeping that right leg, so the injured leg, straight with the heel down onto the floor. You're staying here for about 10 to 30 seconds. You start at 10 seconds and you go all the way to 30. Never bounce. It's not a question of bouncing, it's a question of stretching, okay? And then you're going to do it on the other side, also because you want to compare the two sides. So you also do it from the non-injured side. You're placing the foot down onto the floor and you're bending the front knee, trying to bring the chest towards the wall, keeping that leg as straight as you can, heel down onto the floor. Again, you start with 10 seconds, working all the way up to 30 seconds. And then you're coming up. Now, you're coming onto the floor. This is another stretch of the calf. If you need the resistance balls, you can do it, otherwise you can use a towel. You're having your legs straight in front of you. You can wrap all the way around the balls of the feet, and then you're folding forward as you're stretching the legs, okay? If you're okay with that, you're wrapping the towel around and you're folding forward, you're pointing the toes up towards the ceiling and you're trying to press the knees down onto the floor. So if you do it from the side, you're pointing the toes up, knees down onto the floor, and you're folding forward at the hips. So you don't want to do this, you want to stay here folding at the hips, so that gives the best stretch onto the back of the legs, okay? So these are the two stretches that you want to do. You can also use a foam roller for the calves, where you're placing the foam roller on the floor and then you're sliding back and forward as you're stretching and you're massaging the calf muscles, okay? Now, using the chair, you're coming with the chair and you're on the side of the chair. The injured part is on the outside, okay? And you're lifting the good leg off the floor. Now, what you're trying to do here, I need to go a little bit back so you're seeing my feet. You're supporting yourself on the chair, you're on the bad leg or on the bad foot, and you're lifting the other leg up. And then you're trying to lift the heel up as you're keeping the toes down onto the floor. So you're rolling onto the side and the edge of the foot, lifting the heel up. So from here, it comes up with the toes still down onto the floor. And And then you can do it on the other side. I really don't need the chair. So you're lifting that knee up and then you're rolling onto the side. So you're rolling the foot like that, okay? So from here you're rolling the foot like this. And you're trying to lift the inner arch up. The next one is you're on the injured foot, you're lifting the other leg up, support yourself onto the chair, and then the injured leg, so the injured foot arm comes forward and you're leaning forward. You can bend the knee here and you can kick the leg out a little bit. So you're placing the weight onto the toes of the foot, of the injured foot, okay? And then you're coming back up. And we're gonna do it one more time. So you're starting to bend the knee, bring the arm up, and you're bringing that arm away from the body so that you're feeling the weight go into the toes of the foot. And you're coming back up. You can do it on the other side as well, just to measure how things are. So from here you're lifting the other leg up, bring the arm forward, move the arm away from you as you're bending the leg slightly, so you're sort of putting the weight onto the front of your toes. Coming back up, and do it one more time. And coming back up. You're going back into the injured foot, support yourself on the chair, lift the other leg up, and you're reaching with the hand onto the leg with the same arm as the injured foot. Coming back up, move the chair forward, turning towards the leg, turning towards the chair. Again, you're gonna feel as you're turning that you're placing the weight onto the edge of the foot, okay? And the arch of the foot is lifting as you're doing this. You do it 3 times. You can also do it on the other side, just to make sure that you're doing all the sides and you're comparing sides, okay? Okay, so this is the ones with the chair. The next series of exercises, you need a resistance band, okay? And you're gonna do some resistance working on the foot, especially the injured foot, okay? So you're starting with lying onto the floor. And imagine that this is the injured foot, so I've got my left foot injured. You're placing the band onto the ball of the foot. You're holding quite a lot of tension and you're pushing the toes away from you, pressing the ball of the foot down onto the floor. You're pushing down. You're doing 10 of this. Pointing the toes as much as you can. Replace it every now and again so that you're placing it on the ball of the foot, pushing the foot down. Most of the time it also works if you're placing it on the toes. 10 times, okay? Pressing the ball of the foot down. Now, you're trying to do this movement here with the foot. So imagine this is the foot, you're trying to do this, so you're trying to push it in, okay? So to do that, you need to place your injured foot onto the floor. You're wrapping this on the foot and then you're placing the good leg on top of the other, wrapping the band around it, and now you're turning the foot in. Turning the foot in, and you need to make sure that it's very tight between the toes, the first loop, okay? So that only keeps it together, and then you're trying to turn the foot out, in and up. turning the foot in. So, to repeat it, the bad foot is on the floor, you're placing the band as tight as you can on the foot, and then the good leg goes on top, and you're wrapping the tube around that foot, so it creates a resistance. Then you're still pulling on that, and then you're turning the foot, so you're turning the foot this way. Okay, you're doing that 10 times. And then you're doing the opposite position, so you're trying to push your feet out this way. You're creating a loop, so you're creating a knot on the resistance band, which we're going to use for the next 2 exercises, which are the only last 2 that we've got. Then you're placing, this is the knot, and you're placing the foot, the injured foot, inside it, okay? And then you're wrapping the band so it goes on the outside of the good foot, and then now you're turning the foot this way, so you're turning, so you're trying to do this with the foot, okay? Okay. Now you need to put this under a door, so I've got the door over there, and then you're placing this in here and you're doing this movement here, so you're trying to bring the toes towards your body, okay? So I'm going to do it with a resistance, so I'm going to have to open the door and place the wrap there. So you're placing that knot that I've just made under the door frame, and you're closing the door frame. So that knot is on the outside of the door with the door closed, so it creates a resistance, okay? So creating a tension, you're now wrapping the band around the foot, the bad one, and now you're bringing the toes towards you and relaxing. Bring the toes towards you and relax it. Toes towards you and relax it 10 times, and then you go all the way up to 30, okay? So basically, with the resistance band, imagine this is the foot, you're doing this movement here with the resistance band, so the band is around here and you're pressing the toes down, and then you're using the resistance band to use the feet to go first out and then in, okay? Out and in. So this is what the foot does, down and in, and then with the band here, you're pointing the toes towards you and release it, pointing towards you and release it. So you're always trying to create a movement into the foot so that you're creating and activating that foot, okay? If you've got any questions, please comment below and I'll be very happy to answer all your questions, okay? Okay, so the last thing you want to do is do a massage. Now, I've got this ball, which are bouncing ball, okay? And you place that ball on the foot, on the floor, and what you want to do, you want to place your foot on top of it with as much pressure as you can. So the more you're leaning onto the foot, the more pressure you've got. And then you're sort of self-massaging yourself all the way to the heel and then go back. So basically what you're trying to do, you're trying to sort of self-massage. And you use this ball pretty much all the time, 2 or 3 times a day. Even if you're working in an office, you can do it while you're working in the office. And you're basically self-massaging yourself with this ball. I find that this is better than a tennis ball because the tennis balls are too big and therefore they're not really hitting the spot, whereas these ones are probably an inch in diameter and it really gets to the spots, especially in the heel, because you've got a very small surface and therefore it really gets into the spot, okay?